Hello friends and welcome to DBTV. Today we have with us Dr. Jorson Fernandes. He's a noted ENT surgeon in Goa and he's also been the former governor of Rotary International. Also, he has been the chairman of St. John Ambulance Goa. But today we have him here to give us some information and advice regarding career counseling and guidance. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you so much.
Doctor, you have been in the medical field, but also career guidance and awareness is your area of interest. How did you get into that, Doctor?
Right from the beginning, I've realized for myself that when we were in the school, we had absolutely nobody that suggested or informed us or told us about the different types of careers that are available in the state of Goa. I'm talking about way back in 1976. And that is what propelled me that why shouldn't I share with whatever knowledge that I have in the field of medicine to the students in the state of Goa. Based on this, I launched myself with a couple of other people who were doing on career awareness courses, where I was doing exclusively nothing but only on the subject of medicine, talking to them right from ENT, ophthalmology, medicine, surgery, gynecology, or maybe even radiology, anesthesiology, and things like that. And it went on. And then I realized that it was not only that much, but there was much, much more than that. So what was happening at the beginning was just a piecemeal type of, I'm an expert in the field of medicine, I would talk only on medicine. Somebody is a teacher who would talk only about the teaching and education. A third one who is an engineer would talk about only engineering. And that is what was happening. That's how the humble beginning came by. And then there were many students, after they finished their SSC or when they finished their higher secondary, they would love to come and just listen to us and wanted to know how the examinations go by, what is the number of years the course would last for, and what are the prospects. And this is how I indulged myself in going further on, learning more about careers, learning it from my other colleagues who were there on the field, and that's how I expanded myself.
Were there many resource people at that time who were giving guidance in career?
Not very many, and I still remember that even if we had to talk in the field of medicine, during our time, neurosurgery was just being introduced, urology was not there at all, so cardiology was not there at all. So what we used to do was limit to only the subjects that are there into the medical college during our time, but wouldn't go beyond that because we would like to talk something which is not available in the state of Goa. And then people had queries, could we do in neurosurgery? And then we had to say you have to go outside the state of Goa, and it went on and went on. Same thing used to happen about engineering, like road traffic engineering or public health engineering. Was not a subject in the engineering college at all. And then people would have questions, what is this road traffic engineering? What is this steel engineering? What is this public health engineering? So we had to explain to them how severages are being drawn, how the pipes are being put inside, where not only just the sewerage, but the drinking water pipeline, the gas pipeline, the telephone pipeline, everything has to be fitted under the road, and that would be considering nothing but the road traffic engineering. So we had to go beyond what was available in the state of Goa, and we had to study a lot on those issues, asking some of the experts what it is all about. So that was again the second level that we went by, where people had queries and we had to meet answers to those queries that people had.
Doctor, is there any formal training or formal education or a course which trains the career counselors in this field?
There is something called as career counseling which is available in the psychology, like how you have got clinical psychology, social psychology, industrial psychology. We also do have what is called as career counseling or career psychology, where they do all different types of tests, where they do the guidance, career guidance for the students. And they launch them in a particular field. They tell them these are your likes, these are your dislikes, this is a channel where you would do much better. So we have a formal course that is available. Maybe in the field of psychology, the children who are coming out with their 6 papers in psychology, in clinical psychology or in career psychology will be able to do much, much better and would be able to give something more than what we offer to the students in the state of Goa and elsewhere. Yeah.
Doctor, now coming to the career counseling, at what level it is more important to give it? At the school level or higher secondary or later in the college? At what level age group we should start?
When we talk about career counseling, I think things keep changing for people from school to the higher secondary to the college because their outlook changes, their likes, dislikes may change. You may be able to find more talents into the children. And therefore, at different levels, you may have to do the tests. There's no doubt about it. But what we will find in the foreign countries is these type of psychologists, they do work with the children at the beginning of their school itself. Like for example, a PE teacher would say what the child likes, what games the child has the talent in, and the counselor would also like to make and have their own tests, interact with the child, with the parent, and then channelize the child in a particular game, in a particular sport. So it happens right at the age of 5 or 6 years of age. We have seen that in Australia. We had a couple of group study exchange team members who came from the Rotary, and they were questioning our teachers, do you have something like this that's happening? And what we found was, of course we are not very late, but then we do have the psychologists who are for a group of schools, what is called a super school complex, and the school complexes. We have a psychologist who runs around from one school to another school, and they deal with all sorts of problems, maybe behavior problems and things like that. But I don't know whether these psychologists would be able to deal with problems related to their careers and things like that, or whether they are being the one who are being trained into this field or not. But in Australia, what we got to know was at the age of around 5, 6, 7, they are being already channelized into a sports that they love, the talent that they have. It's on a simple ruling. Choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. That's the way that they work, right?
Doctor, is there any government support for career guidance and counseling?
There is no support as such, but I remember way back, almost around 10, 12 years back, we had the employment exchange that rolled up their sleeves, and they took all around the state of Goa, where, if I'm not mistaken, I think Luisin Falero was then the Minister for Employment and Labour, and we decided that we give an exposure to the children of what is being happening in the state of Goa. Industrialization was going on at a very large scale. But what we found missing at that moment of time was, although we talked about the careers to the people, what was most important was a mapping that needs to be done. When we have the industries coming up, we know that they need advertising technology, we know that they need packaging technologists, rubber technologists, plastic technologists, wood technologists, or they may need some small type of courses that they need to do. And you don't find these are things which are being provided by the educational institutions. So until you do the mapping, and with the mapping, if the educational institution provides us these courses, then it becomes much better for us, because the children come over here and from there they go to the industry. That's how it should be.
Yeah, doctor. And do the students show interest in, do they appreciate that there is a need for career counseling, or?
Very much, very much, very much. Even the parents sometimes do come to us, they sit along with their child, they want to listen to us. What are the different careers? They interact with them. And you find a corollary to this is, many a time the students, after they finish their 10th standard, every parent feels that, okay, I want my child to go to science, whether he or she has the capacity to study the science subjects or not. How much of marks do they have? Whether they have an inclination for science is not something that the parents look into. They'll use all sorts of influence. They'll push the child into the science stream of 10+2. What happens normally is at the 11th standard, they do not get through. At the 12th, they fail, and then they want to change their stream. So in the bargain, they lose so many years, and their whole educational profile is finally being flawed too. And that's because basically the parents force them through without assessing the child properly.
Doctor, what is the first step in career counseling? Should I say an aptitude test is the first step?
Yes, the psychologists have their own protocols by which they check on. There's no doubt about that, absolutely. But we need to share, once we have chosen a particular goal for the child, it needs to be shared with the parent, because the parents also need to work along, they need to support. Like for example, if I'm chosen for football, then my parents need to support me because I need to go for coaching camps. They need to take me in and out. There are some of the time that I will be missing classes. They need to support me for those classes that I've missed out. You find there are so many of us sportsmen and sportswomen who do very well. But most of the parents will always feel that my child should be an engineer, my child should be a doctor. That's how the parents feel. Not realizing what is the best of talent that the child could have. And probably the child could be one of the stars in that field, which is being not seen, which is not being observed, which is not being detected and identified by the parents, nor by the teachers at times.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is there is a pressure from the parents for their child to go into the conventional fields.
Right.
But now we are saying as the things are progressing, other avenues are opening.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Tell us something in the metros now we have the call centers and all that has come up. How has those opportunities changed the field?
Yes, it has changed the fields for many of our students too, because what they have been looking in for is, here's an opportunity, so I need to study this so that I fit myself. It cannot be a square peg into a round hole. So the children are trying now to look out for courses so that they can fit themselves into the slot that is being available. The sad story is, like, for example, physiotherapy, speech therapy, audiometry. These are courses that we needed very much. But you look in about 5 years back, they were not available in the state of Goa. It's only the government now has started these courses, and children have been launching themselves from, I think, probably 2 years back onwards. But there was a lot of demand. A speech therapist, except for the Goa Medical College, was not available outside for any of the parties. So a person from Kankorn or maybe Palolem or Polem would have to travel those 70 kilometers right up to the Goa Medical College. And that is disastrous for anybody to travel 70 kilometers this side and then back again after you receive your speech therapy. So these are the type of courses which should have been started by the government a long time ago. So what is basically happening now is the mapping is what should be started by the Goa University. Once you start the mapping and knowing what the people's needs are, based on that you should provide the courses, or ask educational institutions who are ready for taking up these sort of courses. I can give you an example. Special education during our time was not there much. Today it is inclusive education for all our special children, children with special needs. I'm talking about the children who are mentally challenged, differently able children. Now these children with special needs, that's how we use the word for them. These were not there, these are what children were not having any formal education or academic curriculum for them during our time. But now we have got school like the Sanjay School is there, we have got Gujarati Samaj, we have got so many other schools in the state of Goa. Do you mean to say there were no children with special needs during that time? They were. But the government was not aware that they had to start some courses like that. And everybody was dependent. They had to go back to Mumbai, they had to go to Hyderabad, they had to do their courses and qualifications, and then they had to come over here. Today we are happy because we have got the Nirmala Institute that has started the DED for special education. We have got the Sanjay School that has started the DED, the Nirmala Institute has started the BEd. They have started the DED. We have got also in Ponda, they have got the DED courses that are being started. Now, this happened why? Because there is a demand that is there now. And children have realized and parents have realized, just doing your BEd, your scope is narrowed down because you're trying to teach only the normal students. But if you do your special education, you have got a wider scope. You can teach the normal as well as you can teach the children with special needs. So your scope is wider. You've got wider opportunities to choose for yourself. So this is what is going to change the facet of teachers who would love to teach into the high school category.
Doctor, besides directly interacting with the students, is there a need to train educators and parents also, like in career awareness, so that they can be the first people who can advise the students?
It is a must for us because what we find is every parent does have 1, 2, 3 children. And it's not enough to talk to only one child because the parent need to support them. For example, if I want to do medicine and tomorrow I want to start my clinic, I need to have my parents support me in giving me the money to buy a clinic, to buy my instrument, to buy my equipment for my further studies. So the parents need to share the goal that I have for myself, and that's how they can't look into only me as a child, but then they may have another 2 children or 3 children. So they need to see financially how they're going to go about, how they are going to get the loan facilities from the various financial institutions. So it is a must for us to talk to the parents also as much as that we talk to the students. And I won't stop over here, but the teachers also do have a lot of support that needs to be given. Just to cite an example, if you look into our report card will have the theory marks. Our report card does have the practical marks. And you'll find just one small little line that is available where the teacher writes down the child is done excellently well, the child is good, the child is obedient, the child is naughty, the child is mischievous or comes late. One statement. Now, is that all that you're supposed to talk to them about the child when the child has been there with you maybe for 6 months or maybe for the whole year? Whereas if you look at the cards when we have gone abroad, I've seen they have got a 6-page report card. The first page itself will give you the whole profile of the student, maybe the name, age, whatever category the child is coming from. The next 4 pages will be nothing but exclusively about the behavior pattern of the child. That's the attitudes the child carries. And the last 2 pages would be the remarks, recommendations of the teacher, and the theory and the practical mark. That's how it
So,
goes.
Doctor, would you say there is a need to conduct seminars in schools to train teachers in the domain of career guidance? And
Very
are
much.
schools receptive to this idea?
Very much. We need to do that, but I think what we should do is we should do it up right at the departmental level, the education departmental level. And that would give an additional facet to the teachers, because the teachers would be able to speak very comprehensively to the parents when they come to collect their report card. The report cannot be just like that. Okay, here's your child, she has done well, that's your report card. In a jiffy, not even a minute, you are out there, unless until the child has a problem and the parents want to discuss something more. But this is what normally happens. But on careers, nothing is being touched. And believe me, the teachers observe a lot of things, but they do not have a say, they do not have a place to document what the child is good at. Having said that, these additional inputs would give the parents a leeway to educate the parents as well, the student as well, channelize the child as well, put her into a particular competition where the child could develop the talent further and could get her on a higher scale of performance when they want